He's getting ready. Here we go. Oh, look at that. It's Malachi. Welcome to the Wizard Show.
I apologize for the mic quality. My microphone just decided to stop working on me tonight, so
man,
the headset.
Goddamn technology. Can I first of all just say, fuck. It's just
get it out of your system, man.
Man, I really tried to be I don't know. I did let a fuck word slip.
I have a whole 2 pages of notes and points that I want to address.
Fuck, man.
Yeah. And I was being a shooter for you in the comments. People can get away with anything in those comments.
Those comments are crazy. People were like, "Oh, I love Jesus so much." Before we get into the debate, me, Donnie, Kent, right? We're in the StreamYard service or whatever, and we're having a chat before we even do the debate. The first thing is like, "Hey, Trump won the election. Trump." I'm like, oh my God, dude, man, I have been, ever since I woke up at 5 a.m. this morning, I have been having...
It's been a rough day.
A lot of emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last night, we were watching it very closely, and then it all just took a heavy, steep turn.
Yeah.
The election turned out pretty much about as bad as it could for people like us. Even people who don't define themselves as Democrats, the fact that Trump won the election last night it's abhorrent. It's unbelievable. But it is also at the same time very believable in this country. We just spent a whole debate, a whole 2 hours arguing over very basic science concepts, stuff that sixth graders understand.
Seriously, I feel like a big contributor, the big root of the problem is misinformation. What is science? What is the truth? I don't even know. Maybe the Bible is truth. Anyway.
That's why they have to lower the argument, the science perspective, down to a religion. It's the only way that they could feel like we're arguing on equal terms,
Well, aside from the whole election bullshit, I gotta say, as far as the debate goes, of all my different debates, I feel like this was my strongest debate. I asked him a question, and he dodged and he dipped and he dived and he avoided every single question. Maybe I'll start with my past debates. Actually, let's check this out. Whoa. Here we go. Oh yeah, past debates. Let's start here. So our first debate, and I've made a record of my arguments and Kent's arguments, and people can pause and screenshot this, but we have a chapter 2. I have my arguments and Kent's arguments. Chapter 3. Here's my arguments here on the left, and it's just, and you can add, and I don't know if I would recommend you watching each of these debates, because
you see a pattern very quickly when you're watching.
Yeah.
He sort of does the same few tricks.
Absolutely. He has the same argument that has never changed. This was, now I can't remember, I did, so with our 5th debate, I made predictions, and I think my predictions were in black. Let's see, hold on a second. I don't know. I had some kind of code where maybe you'll have to, if people are interested enough. There are 6 kinds of evolution. basically it's like the red is I didn't predict it, but he said it. No. Maybe that was like I predicted it and he said it. Anyway, I basically predicted what he was going to say. So this last debate, all right, so I said, how are there so many species? And I predicted he would say that the burden of proof is not on me. There are varieties, but there's a limit. And I actually don't think he touched on that too much, but he said, so in bold, he said, you came from a protozoa. Oh my God. I don't understand. This is just the argument from incredulity, where, we start from a protozoa and we evolved into a human. But how is that possible? Well, Kent, what are the limits? What are the limits? And he went on about, oh man, that was so frustrating. Where like I specifically said a species is a creature that can evolve with or reproduce fertile offspring. Okay, reptiles, amphibians, birds, mammals, they can reproduce within their offspring. And he said, "Oh, what is a species? I don't know. I have no fucking clue."
Yeah, in fact, one of the questions I asked.
Well, you asked some question.
I asked two questions. I didn't type them verbatim on my paper, but I remember them generally. The first question, Standing for Truth has arrived into the debate review.
He can join the conversation if he wants.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm trying to think. Oh, let's see. And let me take this link and post a comment. Boom! If anybody wants to join the conversation, Donnie. I thought what was funny, I realized Donnie's last name is Bud in Sky. He's got a sky in, or he's got a buddy in the sky. He's got a sky daddy.
Oh, right. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, the two questions that I asked, well, the first one had to do with this. It was, does Kant recognize the difference between crossbreeding infertile offspring and producing fertile offspring? They didn't have time to get to my question, but I don't think he would have had a great answer for that, or he would have said something that would have contradicted his prior statements,
Okay, so we talked about how are there so many species. I thought it was great how Kent completely avoided this question. But my next question was, what are the limits of an all-powerful God? And he said, there's no limits. Okay, well, evolution is still feasible. And he just got caught up on this idea of like, it's feasible. I don't know. I don't know science, man.
Yeah, there was a lot of like definition arguments. Like what's feasibility? What's species? What's
not like what's feasibility?
And I mean, obviously, like the argument you were going for is that there's no contradiction between God and evolution. But then Kent is saying, no, God purposely made it like the Bible, not like modern scientists argue the world like evolved,
I was trying to get Donnie to have a debate with me, and I think I slipped it in there. And he said, yes, we're going to debate on the existence of God or morality. And I'm really excited about that because honestly, as much as I know about evolution, I know a lot more, or I've studied a lot more about theology and about religion and God. And
yeah, so another one of the questions I asked was why he always brings up pre-modern evolution like theory. Like he doesn't mention modern evolution theory at all. He always goes to Darwin quotes, and Darwin is like an originator of a study. We wouldn't be asking like Eratosthenes like about modern mathematics. It doesn't really like follow to refer to older like science in the context of what people believe nowadays. I don't even like Charles Darwin was like wrong on a lot of stuff like by scientist standard, wasn't he?
It's so frustrating where we're talking about evolution, the science of evolution, where we have a coyote and there's changes in the heritable characteristics of biological populations over successive generations, and then we see a dog, like coyote, dog, wolf, dog, coyote. We're talking about this, and then like Kent's like, whoa, a mosquito and a whale. I don't understand. This is the argument from incredulity. It's the argument from ignorance. He has no idea what he's talking about. So maybe let's see. Oh, wait a second. I need to. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, and totally
So
Sparta that they can't define the difference between the two different types of evolution. It's just
yeah,
it's building their own goalposts, and then they'll dodge around them anyway.
It's that moving goalpost. So my third question was, how do you define relatedness? And he said, man, I felt like he was feeling the pressure because he's like, what is science? Science is what you know, and what you can observe directly. And species, they make babies. The Big Bang. How do you explain the Big Bang? And shifting the burden of proof, like, oh, it's on you to define what what relatedness is, like evolution. And like, either they can make babies or taxonomy. What is it, Kent? What is it? And he was stuck. And he couldn't say shit.
So I have some of my notes pulled up here.
Please. I would love to hear.
And I have my favorite quote of the night.
Oh shit, man! Yeah,
I was trying to type this as he was saying it, but it's hard to exactly follow his verbiage. But I think I mostly got it. The beaver and the butterfly have a common ancestor. This is stupid. It should be criminal, and I will send a letter to Trump asking to remove it from the books. Why don't we get a dog as big as an elephant? Those are two of my favorite quotes from the debate.
Man, I feel like I really had Kent win. I had some argument. Like, how do you define relatedness? And he's like, I bet you're a Democrat. My God, dude. And I honestly, like, that was a completely unfiltered reaction. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, Kent? A Democrat?
Yeah.
How do you define relatedness? Like, okay. I also, so one thing I didn't plan was this like point system, but after our first talking point, I was like, let's see. I was like, how are there so many species? And he's like, what's a species? He didn't answer the question, so I was like, well, guess that's a point for me.
I noticed that I didn't know that would work so well, but it actually put him on his back foot every single time.
Yeah, he's like, oh, that's like, my point. It's my point. No,
he
it's
like tried to go for the point, and you just made up the points on the spot. You guys are never doing points in the first place. I thought that was it was very funny watching him react to that. I think it's because you're one of the few people that when you debate him, you like kind of do the same things he does at him. Like you have the PowerPoint show, and then you're doing like loud expressions in his face the same way he would do to people. It's pretty satisfying watching him like be off put, even if it's for a moment. One of the first things that he gets into is that the word species is synonymous with kind, and then refers to multiple dictionary definitions of species without actually saying that kind meant your definition of species specifically. He would sort of jump around that, and then he would just keep on defining the word species. So that was sort of like how the debate started from his end.
I do also feel like there was a good progression. As I've watched Kent's debates, he's a slippery snake, and I see these exits with these like the back door. right? And it depends on like speciation, relatedness, limits, design. Like there's always a back door because like how do you define relatedness? Oh, they can have babies. Oh, but how is speciation possible? Oh, well, it's more taxonomy, and it's just shifting goalpost.
Yeah, his answer at one point in time, I believe, is that there are some Zorses that can mate. I'm not sure if he had a citation for that, but that was a claim he made at one point of time.
Well, so the thing, like a big point is why I might have a seventh debate. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'll have a seventh debate.
I
Seven
think
debates.
you should just troll him more and more until you're just not allowed on the show anymore.
I mean, yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm totally on board. But
I was shocked a
um,
couple times. You were kind of pushing it with the with those guys with saying
I,
fuck because you stopped yourself the first time, and then the next when he did the are you a Democrat thing that you
yeah.
cracked a little, and then you did the nipple thing, and the audience was like in fire every time that you like did something like that. They were very off put by it. And you got
Yeah,
away
like,
with that one fuck without getting kicked off. I wonder, like, because
oh,
now you have the new rules. Now they won't let you do that, but I'm sure you could find other ways that'll new rules for the show.
but so yeah, here's the thing is as I was preparing for this debate, I had a whole list of counter arguments. Like if he talked about like, oh, that's just the majority of opinion. Like communist China, they think that's the majority of opinion, and I was like, oh, if you say that, here's my argument. I'm going to talk about this the way that science works, and I had all this like, oh, Big Bang. You think everything came from a dot? And I was ready. I had my arguments ready, but they didn't come up. He just like he avoided every question. He avoided
Yeah,
every question.
it's like when he gets to the end of his script, even if you have like something you throw into it, he just sort of wants to move on to a different one instead of like trying to chase you down the rabbit hole. I think I think that's why he doesn't have new material often is because he doesn't like to leave his comfort zone, and he has like a lot of good zingers he can get in. But it really does it feels like he's a cheap show magician when he uses the same exact zingers in every single debate every single time,
Yes.
even with the same people. Like he starts the debate as if you've never spoken to him before. Like a lot of these things should just be established points that you already know you disagree on, and then build off that. But he starts at the very beginning. He's like, species are kinds, they can have babies. Actually, they're close enough. I I don't care if I'm not going to even engage with the idea of their babies having babies. That's I will jump before you get me on that one. Okay, here I have another point on my notes real quick.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, when he first did his intro, he made three main points. He only followed the kinds point, which I guess makes sense postscript, but he also made two big points that he kind of
Okay,
didn't
hold
come
on.
back to at all.
I hate to interrupt you, but I
Oh, that's fine.
remembered my argument or my point,
Yeah.
so I wanted to interject. But he was like, there was some question in like the post show or the questions. It's like, there's all kinds of variety of humans. We have Latino and black and all these different kinds of humans, right? But like we're the same species. How do you define species? I was like, we can fuck. I mean, basically what I said is like we produce fertile offspring. That's the definition of a species. We're one. The human is one species, and he tried to like do a gotcha
Yeah,
or
when you
something.
mention that, I even wrote a note somewhere, but I can't find it. But
Yeah.
he basically says uh race equals kind. Like I wrote it somewhere. It was race equals kind equals species. That's the note I had, because he was like, he tried to just pull it right back to the original like the kinds argument again, which is, it's like the I don't know, it's really like, it's such a obtuse talking point to just pull out 4 dictionary definitions and be like, these are contradictory, are they not? Instead of like engaging with the definition that your like
Oh.
opponent has laid out, you know. But that was most of the debate. But he also made 2 other big points. He said Noah's flood explains geography. I would have loved to have heard more about that. And he said Earth is 6,000 years old, which I know he believes, but it's interesting he mentioned it in his like intro statements, but never came back to it at all, like throughout the whole debate.
Yeah, let me what was our my last talking point? So I think we covered a species, the limits of an omnipotent God. There's no limits. How do you define relatedness? He didn't talk about shit. So my last question: why did an all-knowing, all-powerful, all-loving God make such bad designs? And so, quick note: like the not bolded text is my predictions. So before we had a debate, I made these predictions. So my question was, why did an all-powerful God make such bad designs? And I thought he would say vestigial means you don't need it. Actually, I don't think he touched on that. Vestigial.
No,
Yeah, I
he
might have
kind
to
of
watch it
just
back, but
didn't. I don't think he engaged with the vestigial thing.
yeah. Well,
I remember
I
you
did bring it up
trying.
at some point.
Yeah, I think his only because you brought it up, but his only engagement was something like he was denying it, saying that over time it's been proven that each of these supposed vestigial body parts are actually uh, still used, or like he wasn't that specific, but he was implying that they're no longer vestigial, like under like definition or something, without really like indicating where he knew that, like how
Man,
he knew
like,
that or anything like that.
yeah, he goes off on the whole like, oh, if you're, he fucking pulled out his pocket knife. You, he's like, if your tailbone is vestigial, whooshing, pulls out his knife. He's like, I'll cut your tailbone out. I'm like, that is vestigial anatomy does not mean it's useless. Oh my god! Oh, hold on a second. Oh, active siege. This is happening.
Oh, there we go.
Who's this? Who is this?
Okay. Hi. Okay,
Hey.
Wait, I
can
can
you
hear
hear me?
you, but I can't see you. Where's your camera, man?
No,
God, oh, hold on a second. Oh, active siege. This is happening. Who's this? Who's this?
he's okay. Hi.
I'm gonna mute just for a minute. Hopefully, we can figure out. I really want to see the video. I don't know who this person is. Sparta. All my other 5 debates, as far as the like Q&A, the questions, I feel like I did really good in the questions. I don't know, maybe you can speak to that.
Yeah, I mean, it was shorter than I expected, and I think you used up about as much time as they were going to let you get. Like, the scale is very weighed in the debates on that channel. I mean, it's very apparent from the theme and from the channel itself that you're not going to find lots of allies there. But even then, the questions were like the same questions Kent gets all the time. I didn't see him answer anything new, and you were able to sort of dig in there a little bit when otherwise we would have just heard the same boilerplate thing that we always hear from him.
Yeah.
Oh, Sparta left. That's
Uh-oh.
unfortunate.
Yeah. No. Uh, I just gotta say, this is like my first time. I've done live streams, but I haven't really like added or joined. This is a new software to me.
Yeah, if Sparta sticks around, subscribes to the channel, they can join next Wizardology, which is what, this Sunday, right?
Oh man, dude, yeah, I was Wizardology, man.
I
This
liked
Sunday.
hearing your first sermon. I think is the one I listened to lately. It was either the first or the second one, but it was well done as like a atheistic sermon. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, I'm glad to hear it because man, I put a lot of effort into this fucking religion, and I spent probably more time than I needed to on logos and iconography. The I don't know where my hat is, but
I like the hat.
Yeah.
The new hat is pretty sick.
I told when we were doing the debate, I'm like, hey, I'm going to answer all your questions. I'm going to answer your questions. Where are the creationists? I will answer your question right now. Who's watching? Please add a comment. Where are they? Where the fuck are they? They can't watch this?
Yeah, I was welcoming them the whole show. I kept saying you're allowed to cuss if you come on here. Oh, is Sparta on here now?
Yeah, let's try this again.
Are they audio only? Oh, you sound better quality.
Yeah, I had the video parallel in another tab. I had to mute the other tab before joining you on Steamlet, so I hit the double. So, right. But I leave the camera still off now because I want to go for a smoke, and it doesn't make sense to have the camera on there. So, right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm from Germany, and
Germany.
I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ! Welcome.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear what happened to your country last night or to the election.
Thank you. Oh my God! Thank you so much. Like,
from German perspective, it's unbelievable that this convicted fellow can be president.
Yes.
Yeah, felons can't even vote in most states at this point, and
but it can be president.
It can be president. How about that? It's almost like if you're rich and you're a felon, the rules don't apply to you.
Oh, but what scares me so much is that the whole making the laws where the president can basically do whatever they want.
No, that's the Supreme Court.
Supreme Court. They can do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah. They're loyalists that he appointed, that he's coming back around for 4 years later.
Hold on.
Yeah, 4 years ago he appointed some guys in the Supreme Court.
Hey, hold on a second. Look, I'm so glad you joined the show, but let's talk about Kent Hovind. Let's talk about Kent.
Yeah. Sorry,
it's a little bit more fun.
Fucking shit.
It's a little bit more fun to talk about Kent.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just wanted to give you my consolation. So
condolences.
Condolences.
Thank you so much.
All we've heard all day is "fuck you, Trump won." So it's good to hear something else.
Fuck Trump.
Yeah, Kent Hovind. And talking about fuck, and he's so illiterate because even I know that fuck can be used as an adverb, as a verb, as a noun.
That was such a crazy comment.
Fantastic.
Fuck is a verb, dude. Fuck is of anything. A noun, a verb, but preposition.
Are you familiar with the brilliant show The Wire?
I haven't seen it, but I've heard of it.
The Wire? Yeah. It's in Baltimore. It's 6 seasons. It's a drug criminals story and crime drama. Yes, and the 2 police investigators take up a cold case and go to the how do you call the place where the crime happened, the murder, the place where
crime
it
scene.
happened, crime scene. Yeah, and they start to reinvestigate, and it's 10 minutes or something like that, and they pick up things. Fuck, fuck, fuck. The only thing. And each and every fuck has a different
Hold on a second.
intonation. You
When
need
you're
to see. It's one of the best shows which ever has been released. So
It's a
okay.
versatile word.
I'm not going to be
very.
able to monetize this video. I hope you know all
Oh,
these fuck words.
no.
Oh no, I'm not gonna get paid. Come on, man. You know I'm
What's the
only
point? What's the point if you're not making money off of YouTube?
yeah.
Yeah. So Kent Hovind, 1 point.
Kent Hovind.
Did you find the kinds argument compelling? We've only heard that
Is that
1,000
an
times.
argument?
Mm.
Hold on. Lines.
I've got a new take. I've heard several debates with Kent Hovind from different guys. So, but I've got now a new take on it, which I never heard before. Because look at the Bible, and in none of these sentences it says the kinds
Hold on.
produced
Wait,
by
look at the
come
Bible.
forth. Yeah. And it says, God brings forth after their kind. God brings forth after the kind. You can't eat only by the kind. You can't mix the different kind. But in not one sentence I found, they have stated that the species, the kind, came forth by themselves. So no, the definition isn't there. But Kant always tries to impose it into the Bible text. If you look closely,
So it's like he's counting on people for not reading the actual verbatim
yeah.
Bible.
Oh my God. Oh
He
my.
takes this totally out of context, and nobody said it before to him.
It's a pretty classic American evangelical trick, though, is to find like 4 or 5 Bible verses that you really like and then just like abuse people with them.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
of course, and ignore everything else. And yeah,
I was just so ready to talk about the Bible. I can't believe Kent didn't really bring it up, but like one thing that I hadn't known, but like I'm doing research, unbiased research. But I was looking into the Bible, and someone mentioned there's I don't know what the scripture verse is. Someone can figure this out, but there's a scripture verse that says the sun and the moon are the same size. There's a scripture that says the sun and the moon are the same circumference. And I was ready to ask Kent. I'm like, oh, hey, there's Sparta, man, dude. Hey,
Yeah.
oh my God, it's so good, dude.
Mut zum Hut.
Oh my God, thank you
this.
so much for joining. This is, dude.
Hang on.
I just want to say, like, I've been feeling discouraged because no one has really been engaging in wizardology in my channel and all that. And this fucking election, I can't believe it. And I just feel like no one really cares. Like, what the hell? But this awesome, amazing person, Sparta, thank you for joining. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think this is a good opportunity this next like 4 years to be more aggressive in like hitting these people, because I mean it's all we got at this point. We don't have any institutional power, so these debates are going to matter a little bit more, I think, trying to get people to at least be a little bit more educated. I mean they're stripping down our education system, so this this alternate media type of ecosystem is going to be the way a lot of people are going to be learning here in the next few years, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already how I watch a lot of educational content.
Yeah, what are some of the other notes that you took during the debate? I want to hear your notes that you took down.
Okay, so one very interesting thing is since the other question I asked was the like modern evolution theory question, I asked why he always
I
quotes
remember.
Charles Darwin, but never refers to modern evolution theory, and
Yeah.
Right.
that question wasn't brought up at all because obviously they didn't have time for it, and the thing he said specifically towards the end of the debate that would have been a perfect thing to bring this question up because of it was natural selection cannot change properties. When we know for a fact point mutations can do like wild changes over one single generation. Like there's literally a point mutation for scales to turn into feathers. Like it's wild that like the last 100 years of evolutionary biology is just ignored. It doesn't exist in Kent's world, basically.
Right. And for such a debate, you need to have examples to be convincing. And another one would be the bacteria who evolved nylon eating. So, and this is stuff which is invented by humans, and
That's
so it's
true.
impossible that bacteria could have this property before humans invented nylon. So, and it's a beneficial mutation for those bacteria. Another would be Radcliffe's evolution of multicellularity, which is snowflake yeast. You have to really dump this guy such examples into his face.
Yeah.
Because in the debate, if you don't do this and you just say, "Oh, it's scientific, we've got beneficial mutation," and you can't give at least one example, then it's bad for the audience. And all his followers say, "Oh, wait, it looks like an idiot," and such kind. They wrote, yeah.
They were taking every opportunity they could to just be like, "Oh, you're running away from the argument," like just because you didn't nail him with hyper-specific examples. I feel like I even made a sarcastic comment, and someone even unironically agreed with me. I was like, "Oh, next time Wade should bring a list of all the species with him," is what I said, and someone was just like, "Yes, this would be perfect to do."
I did.
It's like,
but no, I did answer this. To you.
You did?
Okay. I answered to you and said, "That's a good idea for the next time." Yes, it was totally in agreement with you. Yes, yeah. I remember.
So you just agreed with that unironically, though, right? So you think that's a good idea? So I mean, maybe
it's a very good idea. If Ken comes with his chart and asks, "Where are the species?" you can come up with a list.
Maybe he even specifically said birds, reptile. No, not birds. Right? Which ones did he say could be on the ark? He was very specific.
Dude, birds, reptiles, amphibians,
baby dinosaurs,
tetrapods, and he could not figure that out. He's like, "Oh, what's a species?" And I'm like, Kent, it's birds, mammals, amphibians, they can reproduce fertile offspring. And he's like, "Oh, but I have no idea what a species is."
But sorry, birds, mammals, they are not species. Sorry, no, wait.
Going
no.
1,000 to 40,000 species. That's species.
And his answer was such a cop-out. So actually, they accept so-called microevolution because they had space problems on the ark. So and this is they don't accept evolution, but adaptation on steroids within the last 4,000 years. Yeah,
they can make babies.
Their adaptation is really if you bring
I'm
it
not
down.
Exactly even sure. I'm not exactly even sure what he was like, what his argument was at a certain point. Because he was like, he was not acknowledging that many species existed, but he was also saying that they prove to me that all of these species can't interbreed. And then he was bringing up specific examples of animals that actually can't interbreed, like they could crossbreed and create an infertile like offspring, but it's not what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And then he never comes back to being like, well, and here's why there's less of those species. He's just like, he brings you to a little place and then he just ditches you there.
His argument was literally that modern biologists go out of their way and identify new species, like 10,000 different species of frogs. So, and therefore, this number is unwarranted. And they make it only for profit, of course. And so, no, we have only 8,000 kind, which he said, and that's enough. So, yeah. How do you deal with it? You would say, yeah, but do you accept that a lion and a tiger are they different species, or a house cat?
Yeah,
because they have all cats in one.
That's why he's not specific about kinds and species and races and all of that. He's just like one thing. It's the difference between animals is one thing.
Well, I thought it was funny where he went from because I was talking about going from 1,400 species to over 40,000 species, and he's like, maybe it was like 8,000 species. I'm like, bro, even if you're going from 8,000 to 40,000, what are you talking about? That's speciation. Okay,
but there was at this point of the discussion, he said, "Are you sure they can't interbreed?" And then you said, "Yeah, they can. Yeah, because they are hybrids and sometimes even fertile hybrids." But that doesn't. That's the exception. It's not the. It's not the rule, and it is only going for very, very closely related species, and not for all of them. So, and therefore a list with the species, as you said, would be good. So, like, he can't deny that a type of lizard can't have fertile offspring with the lion.
Yeah,
but maybe he can because he says to demonstrate that there are so many. But he would wish to some other thing.
Yeah, he's like, oh, do you think that a whale was related to a mosquito? And I'm like,
yes. He always falls back. When you were talking about specific evolution, he always falls back. Oh, but the amoeba is not related. Yeah.
It's almost a good Kent Hovind type question to be like, hey, can cats and squirrels have babies? Hey, can birds and blue jays and chickens have babies? Just railing him with just random like animal combinations that are just
actually one of my arguments, I wanted to like just look at a phylogeny chart, where it starts with like dogs and wolves, coyotes, and I want to be like, is this related? Is this related? Is this related? And take a step back, and like, at what point, we're looking at these like dog hybrid, like bear hybrids.
Yeah, I know what he would say.
Yeah, the problem is he would take out the chart and he would say, "This is art. This is propaganda." He would say, "Here's
he would say,
little tree." And
we never
bullshit.
We never observed it, therefore it's not knowledge. That's his. Yeah.
I do.
But
I do.
In a sky that. And you can't. That's so mean. You can't even get it with. What's about your sky daddy? He would say, "I believe it. I say it's my belief, but you, yeah, that's a funny thing. Although you can't get him in criticizing his religion, in this regard, but only in his misrepresentation of science, and that's where you always come. Cows don't only always produce cows, and that's where you misunderstand that it's not an individual take, but it's a change over generations of heritage. Evolution is it's not that one. My cat wouldn't breed a non-cat now.
Yeah.
And by the way, the one creation is there was a question, and someone asked you if the first dog came from a non-dog, and you said yes, and that is wrong because it's a slow transitional movement.
It was
and if you are,
that was
the question was, there is not a wolf, and then there's a dog all of a sudden, but there's a slow change.
The creationists misrepresent evolution as like, oh, suddenly you go from one species and you produce a new species, and that doesn't.
And wouldn't there technically be a
And that's
non-dog
where you
even
come
if it's not a wolf? You know, like isn't that still like how it would?
But here's the thing. Well, hold on a second. So like with all of evolution, it's a slow, gradual transition. It's a process. How do you, saying like defining the dog species or the human species? And I think this is a great argument against why God created humans specifically, because you look at a color spectrum and you say, define green. And how do you like, this is green, but it's a slow, gradual transition. Like there's no real defined cutoff as to where humans begin and non-humans, whatever the fuck that means. And so like talking about sending dogs from a non-dog or a wolf, like how do we define dog? How do we define wolf? It's a very gradual process. Like,
so these are just gradual genetic changes that eventually show up over generations. Is that
over generations, and they have to be separated, and so that there's no genetic flow between those populations. So and that's why I said you fell into this creation.
It's like a trick question in a way.
It's a trick question. Yeah. Because he got you. So then you have to show where a cow becomes a non-cow or something like that. So that was a kind of gotcha from them. And for Kent, yes.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, it was
a trap. Trick question.
Yeah.
By the way, the actual number of species on Earth, actual counting, is 1.8 million, not 46,000.
Yeah, depending.
You refer to families or groups or something like that. I don't know where this number came from. Or only land animals? I don't know. Or vertebrates?
Is that already,
I don't know.
maybe that's already a cut down number for the.
That might be. From further debates, and hang on, even in Wikipedia, where did I say? Good question. I don't know exactly.
Yeah, I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No. But it's all right. If I throw out numbers, I need to provide the source for them, of course, and that's the problem. Yeah, and that was lacking in the debate.
If I can jump in, I've loved this conversation. I've appreciated both your inputs. I really have to pee. Also, I didn't expect this to last so long, but yeah, just a quick plug for Wizardology. We're going to meet every second Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the Wizard Show. Want to thank both of you for joining the conversation, and we're going to say goodnight and much love.
Yeah. Bye. Later.
Okay, see you.
So a set of animals or plants which members have similar characteristics and can breed with each other. At Dinosaur Adventureland, we have our sheep, donkeys, zebu, cows, and horses all together in the same pasture. We've never gotten a zeep, donkey, heap, how, or shebu. Never. They know what to mate for. They know what to look for. They know what kind they are. Keep in mind, they don't even know what they look like, but they know what to look for. Huh? Smarter than most scientists. If they're dumb enough to try, like a duck trying to mate with a turkey, nothing's going to happen. They can't interbreed. Let's see. No bird brains. Yep, all of them.